So when it comes to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, two things can be true at the same time, right? The Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is a good phone. No, it's a great phone. But after reading comments online, it clearly leaves people wanting for more, especially since phones like OnePlus 13 show a little more innovation, right? So while the S25 Ultra is a premium flagship that most users will be very happy with, it looks as if Samsung is taking a much bigger swing with the S26 Ultra, giving us features and upgrades we probably should have had this year, and some upgrades you probably haven't even thought of. Let's get into the very latest leaks and rumors of what Samsung will offer in next year's S26 Ultra. Okay, so to start it off, we have the next generation of chipsets. That's correct, plural, chipsets. So the Snapdragon 8 Elite powering the S25 Ultra is receiving varied user feedback. While some users report positive experiences, others, including myself, are experiencing overheating issues. Now, I anticipate performance and thermal improvements through monthly updates as the S25 ages a little bit. However, Samsung will inevitably incorporate next year's flagship chipset in the S26 Ultra. This will be the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2, or similarly named successor from Qualcomm, right? They've known to change names up every now and then. Nevertheless, strong speculation indicates a potential return to Exynos chipsets for Samsung's next flagship device as well. Samsung has notoriously used a split strategy for chipsets in its flagship's device. Snapdragon-powered devices are sold in the United States and in Korea, while European and Asian users get the Exynos-powered variant. This has often frustrated overseas users who feel like they are getting an inferior device. We'll see how well Samsung does with its chipsets in 2025, but I wouldn't be surprised if Exynos makes a comeback with the S26 Ultra in the Samsung Exynos 2600 CPU, codename Ulysses, that would leverage the company's 2nm technology. Now, where have you heard this one, right? So as we go on, more devices, creating more generative AI and AI features on these flagship devices. Well, what does AI need a lot of? RAM. So that's what this S26 Ultra is going to get. They are finally going to put 16 gigabytes of RAM across the board. Well, at least in the Ultra model. We don't have rumors about RAM yet for the S26 Ultra, but I'd be shocked if we did not see a 16 gigabyte model next year. I was disappointed and outspoken when Samsung limited the S25 lineup just to 12 gigs, especially since 16 gigs is available overseas. Phones like the OnePlus 13 and Google Pixel 9 Pro XL offer 16 gigs for less than the S25 Ultra, and its critical specs given Samsung's heavy push into AI. I often hear that 12 gigs is enough RAM to run AI in most applications in today's phones. And we don't even use most of the RAM on the smartphones, it's very true. You know, sure, the programs you open up don't often threaten the 12 gigabyte RAM threshold. However, from everything companies have told us over the last 2 years, RAM is an essential part for helping the on-device AI run smoothly, which is precisely why Google made a point of including 16 gigs of RAM in each Pixel 9 model, giving Galaxy AI such a focal point for Samsung. It's odd that the company wouldn't help future-proof the $1,300 smartphone. I expect the company to correct that mistake in 2026. Next up is an upgrade we've all been waiting for. So, new battery technology is finally here. Yes. Samsung Electronics is also seriously researching a plan to install the silicone carbon battery in its Galaxy smartphones following Chinese manufacturers. Considering the trend of larger batteries, it is highly likely that the battery capacity will increase significantly in the next model to be released early next year. At a capacity almost seems unheard of in a mobile phone. Internal leaked documents from Samsung And it looks like there is a high possibility that the battery capacity will be increased in the next model. Leaked documents has this new Samsung battery rated at over 7,000 milliamp per hour. Absolutely mind-blowing. Samsung is directly participating in the development of their own silicon carbon battery from the ground up. And to get it right, it does take time. Samsung cannot simply copy OnePlus's new battery tech because while in development a couple years ago, OnePlus patented their new silicon carbon battery technology. We're sure it will be, similar in some ways. It charges and discharges, right? It's a battery, but the construction must be slightly different compared to OnePlus's new battery tech. It sounds like Samsung's years of hard work is about to pay off because it is expected to be in next year's S26 Ultra, giving many, many disappointed Samsung fans the upgrade they've so desperately sought after. Speaking of charging, we would also like to see the charging speed and charging time of this new S26 Ultra increase as well. Since one of the advantages of Samsung's new silicon carbon battery technology is safer, it's faster charging, right? So why not take advantage of that new technology and increase the charging speed and wattage? We would personally like to see charging current increase from 45 watts to at least, 60 watts, right? Is it really asking for that much, right? Increase from 45 to 60? No. Or possibly go from 0 to 100 in, let's say, 45 minutes. I don't think that's asking for much. What about you? Now, I understand going from 0 to 100 in 30 minutes or 22 minutes like a OnePlus phone. Maybe not on their level yet, but at least make steady progress. Look, they've made progress going from the S24 Ultra up to this current S25 Ultra. I just did a video about that yesterday. But let's see the steady increase. Let's see the steady incline in charging speeds, please. Let's catch up to the pack now. Here is one you're not going to want to miss, and it is probably my favorite, or at least the most sought after upgrade in my opinion, or maybe should I say the coolest upgrade that I can think of so far. So the S26 Ultra is set to have an under-display front selfie camera. And out of the blue rumor claims that the Korean giant is already testing an S26 Ultra prototype that does not sport any visible front sensor whatsoever. All screen, 100%. This would suggest that Samsung is aiming to deliver a full screen experience without any cutouts, much like what Apple is rumored to be doing at the moment. Samsung already has an existing experience in this arena because the company's current foldable flagship, right? The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 sports an under-display sensor that shows itself. It comes out of hiding, so to speak, when you're ready to capture an image or a video from it. The biggest caveat of adopting this technology is the compromise in quality. The captured still image or motion video does have to pass through the AMOLED pixels in the display. So companies like Samsung and Xiaomi have been perfecting this technology for years. Xiaomi actually produces a couple of devices with an under-display selfie camera. And as I mentioned, Samsung does too, the Fold 6. A very strategic roll of the dice has to be played here. Although this technology is neat, it should not be implemented, in my opinion, as a cool factor while delivering subpar image results, right? Samsung, please introduce this feature only if the under-display selfie camera gives us the same results as the regular hole punch selfie camera results. Even Apple has been reported to be testing out this technology on numerous occasions, but it failed to debut in any iPhone so far, right? Likely due to the same reasons, obviously. We should also mention that Samsung has a regular hole punch selfie camera prototype of the S26 Ultra available for testing as well. And for the most part, we feel that this version will end up being released due to the basically fewer complications that come with introducing a relatively new feature on a flagship smartphone. If it does not eventually end up on the S26 Ultra, I can bet you it should be ready for prime time in a very short period of time, showcasing on the S27 series. But I got my fingers crossed that we're going to see it on this S26 Ultra. Now, speaking of cameras, speaking of sensors, the S26 Ultra should introduce some new camera technology and or new camera sensors, quite frankly. The S25 Ultra did not see much of an upgrade in the camera sensor department over the S24 Ultra. There's little difference between the camera hardware that these two devices have, right? Out of a total of 5 cameras, the ultra-wide camera is the only one that got upgraded. So the S25 Ultra swaps out the 12-megapixel unit for a 50-megapixel sensor in virtually the same size, right? It does improve quality of the shots, but not much of a change. Now, speaking of the 200-megapixel main camera on the S25 Ultra is indeed the same as on the S24 Ultra, and well, same as the S23 Ultra, and you get the point. It goes on and on. The telephotos have been carried over too. So over the front, there are no changes either. Selfie camera is the same as before, comparing the S25 series and the S24 series. So keeping the same sensors year after year isn't such a bad thing. It allows Samsung developers to fine-tune the sensors over the years, a la Google Pixel 2 through Pixel 5 series, right? Same sensors over numerous generations, and the Google developers squeezed every drop of performance out of those sensors throughout the years. However, at some point, newer technology gets developed which allows for better quality photos and videos. Now, I don't want or expect the S26 Ultra to get a full camera sensor overhaul, but at least continue the trend, right? As we mentioned in the last section. So Samsung upgraded one sensor on the S25 Ultra over the S24 Ultra. Continue that trend. Upgrade another sensor or two on the S26 Ultra compared to the S25 Ultra. Let's do it. Now, how could I forget the biggest comeback in history of mobile devices? Bring the Bluetooth S Pen back, or else. I really hope Samsung brings back the Bluetooth S Pen. Look, not for me. I could care less. But all the people online hooting and hollering, I guess the 1% of S Pen gesture users hit the internet and hit the internet hard. It seemed like every chat box for every video and every post had somebody mentioning and or saying how they were displeased with the lack of Bluetooth, right, in the S Pen. We reviewed the jailbreak everything teardown video, and the charging coils in the device, in the phone, and in the S Pen are still there. The tiny hollow battery slot in the S Pen is empty and still there. So Samsung, just satisfy your lifelong fans and put that little battery and Bluetooth chip in the S26 Ultra S Pen, so we don't have to hear and or see our comment boxes filling up with people shitting on Samsung. I get it. Look, if you're going to pay for it, if you do pay for it, you deserve the right to express your opinion. So I'm not hating on you out there watching this if you're displeased at them removing the Bluetooth. I'm basically saying, why doesn't Samsung just put it back there and they can eliminate this whole fiasco to begin with, right? Say, whoops, my bad. Okay, we should have put it in the S25 Ultra. Here you go for the S26 Ultra. That's all I'm saying. So I appreciate the time. And these are some very interesting. Some are confirmed. Some of them are not. Some of them are still up in the air. Some Samsung has not even made a decision yet on what to do. Sort of like the under-display selfie camera. They have 2 prototypes, S26 Ultra with a selfie sensor under display, and the S26 Ultra prototype with the hole punch in display, and they're testing them out to see which one works best. So there is a chance they go with under display. There's a chance they don't, but I think pretty good solid evidence are going to go with 16 gigs of RAM. I sure hope they put a Bluetooth back in the S Pen. Sure hope they upgrade a sensor or two on the back, and the silicon carbon battery. Whew, man, with improved charging speeds, should be phenomenal. So I think if you held out on not purchasing the S25 Ultra, I think this is the one you're going to want to get. Now, they need to hit the colors, because the Pixel 9a leak just came out, with all the colors, you got to give it to Google. They've been putting on some really nice colors in the last few years, and I want to see Samsung kind of going away with this sort of, all of them look fairly similar, and it's only if you move it in a certain light you get to see the color. Why don't you just give us a color, right? Like the blue S25 Plus. That thing looks badass. Why couldn't you put that blue on the Ultra? You know what I'm saying? So just a few little improvements here or there, and I think Samsung would have an all-round badass. I mean, even, I know I've mentioned this as a badass phone, but it is, but I think they could satisfy everybody if they just did these few things. And it looks like they're going to do that. It looks like they're on the right path of putting together almost a complete phone. So let me know what you think. Am I missing anything? Can you think of anything else you would like to see on the S26 Ultra? Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. I check them every single day. Let me know what you think, and I will see you on the comments. Peace.